Hey guys, this is Dennis here with Revog Games, and this is my first impressions of the game, The Ascent, which was developed by Neon Giant, which is apparently only 11 or 12 person team. They actually got a grant from Epic Games to start this game, and it's an Xbox/PC exclusive. You can actually buy it for $30, or you can get it on Xbox Game Pass for free, which is what I did. And let me tell you, this game actually really surprised me because I really didn't know much about it. It has this cyberpunk aesthetic, but it's actually the cyberpunk game I didn't know I actually really wanted. It's an isometric action RPG, twin stick shooter. The last game I played like this was this game called The Hunter Reckoning on the original Xbox. I have to say I'm 5 hours into it, and so far it's my favorite game of the year. To be fair, not a lot of big titles have come out this year so far, maybe towards the end of the year, so let's see if that sticks. But it was a big surprise to me, much like last year with Population 1 or the year before that, World War Z. It is one of those games where I didn't really know much about and just kind of dropped on my radar and played it, and then was thoroughly surprised and having a blast with it. So anyways, the combat in this game is a twin stick shooter. Like I said, you can upgrade your weapons and your armor. You have a lot of cosmetic stuff that you can change. It looks very cool. I call this kind of like a streamlined version of Cyberpunk 2077. Obviously, it's a much different genre other than the aesthetic and the environment of being in a cyberpunk world. You do have a focus mainly on the combat, shooting, upgrading your weapons. It does a lot of things where, you know, including the story, where the story is very streamlined. It's straightforward. You go talk to people. You don't really have much dialogue decisions. You kind of just ask them questions and they give you answers. It's all kind of exposition for the particular mission that you're on. The cool thing is when you go on side quests, you go talk to other people. That was one thing that bothered me in Cyberpunk 2077 is that you would get side quests out of nowhere. You wouldn't even have to accept them or even talk to anyone. They just have to either text message you, give you a phone call, or even if you're just walking around the street and you happen to overhear a conversation that you didn't really even want to hear, and suddenly you have this side quest in there for no reason. This one is a little more focused. It doesn't have quite as many things going on, but because of that focus, you can kind of narrow in on what you want to do. It's kind of cool because at first when I started playing the tutorial, I thought, okay, maybe I was going to get kind of bored with the kind of almost like dungeon-like inside area, but I found out after the introduction tutorial, you kind of go into this open world where you can kind of explore, you can loot boxes, you can get all these different new items, you can get credits, you can get upgraded weapons, you can go to different craft shops to upgrade your weapons or buy new weapons or armor or your headgear and all that cool stuff. And it's this kind of semi-open world area they can travel around. I mean, I haven't even, it's fairly large, and then you can go into these other areas, and that's where you actually have to fight other enemies, and you get different missions and side missions. So I enjoy that. It wasn't just kind of like a dungeon crawler where you're just in this one set same looking place just walking around and shooting. As far as the graphics go, they're fantastic. You know, I didn't think an isometric shooter like this would look that great. I'm running on a PC. I'm not playing the Xbox version. Looks great. I did have to turn down my settings for graphics. They were all on ultra, and it was fine, but once I kind of got into the parts where you're shooting either a lot of enemies, explosions, or actually there was like a boss battle, that things kind of slowed down and started. I actually ended up dying in the boss battle because I honestly could not see what was going on. The game automatically set everything to ultra for me. I turned everything down to high, and then everything's been fine since. There's still been some bugs here and there. It's crashed. Weirdly, when you exit out of the game back to the main menu, you kind of get stuck waiting on that main menu before actually anything pops up for you to select. So if you actually want to quit the game, it takes quite a while for some unknown reason. The game has obviously a cyberpunk feel to it, but it's kind of less 80s where Cyberpunk 2077 has that kind of 80s feel to it, and this actually has a more Star Wars feeling because you're on another planet And as you walk around the planet, you go into this one bar that reminded me of the cantina scene in Star Wars. There's different creatures, and they're all talking and hanging out. And it just has definitely a built-in world. It's teeming with life. There's lots of people around wherever you go, and then there's lots of people. And when the combat, I mean, really, you know, the main thing is the combat is just a lot of fun. I mean, obviously you're shooting down a lot of enemies, but they varied it up with enough type of weapons and also special powers and different armor and all that good stuff. And you know, let's see, you know, as I get further along to see if it gets repetitive. So anyways, that was my first impression of this game. I'm really liking this game a lot. I have a feeling it's going to end up being in my top games of the year. I don't know if it'll be the top game. It's the top game right now as we stand, but the year, even though it's halfway done, we know that the bigger games are going to be coming out at the end of this year. So anyways, the Ascent, check it out. Xbox PC exclusive. You have Game Pass free. If not, it's only $30, so that's not expensive, and I think it's well worth the $30. And I'll be doing some more reviews. I know Josh is playing it as well, so me and him will probably have a discussion or review about it soon. So anyways, make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel, youtube.com/Revog, and also follow us on Twitter at Revog Games. You can follow me on Twitter at ThinkHero or on Instagram, dennis.tzng. Until next time, see you guys later.